Hello everybody and welcome back to my continuation of my book reading of The Whispering Nights. Chapter 8, Escaping from Morgan. The church was empty. "Oh dear," said Susie. "There's nobody here. Nobody to help us if Morgan comes." "It doesn't matter," said William. "It's just her against us anyway, isn't it? Nobody can help us." They were walking through the church towards the large stone cross high up on the wall, when suddenly they heard the door open behind them. At once they dropped down behind one of the large wooden seats and waited. The door closed again, and then the church was silent. At last William put his head over the top of the seat. He saw Morgan standing by the door, her snake eyes looking in all the dark corners of the building. She looked uncomfortable, like a cat stepping into water. Susie and William both felt very cold, and their bodies were trembling. Martha did not seem to feel anything. She moved her arm, and a pile of books fell on the floor with a crash. The noise seemed very loud, and Susie and William froze. Now they could hear the sound of Morgan's footsteps coming towards them. Suddenly the whole building rang with noise. The clock was striking, and the echo of the bells sounded from floor to roof and from wall to wall. Pulling Martha with them, William and Susie ran across the church and hid behind a round stone column. The church was silent again, but a dark figure in the shadows was moving towards them. When a deadly cold entered their bones, they knew that Morgan was very near. They ran towards the door and hid behind another column. Then they heard Morgan laughing. A low voice said, "Martha, come here." "Sorry," Martha said to William and Susie. "I'm afraid I have to go now." She shook Susie's hand from her arm, stepped away from the column, and walked towards Morgan. "Stop, Martha," cried Susie, but Martha did not seem to hear and went on walking. Desperately, the others ran after her. Morgan was waiting for Martha near the door, her face white and expressionless. But suddenly she stepped back in horror. She had noticed a cross on the stone floor by her feet. She hates the sign of the cross. Susie looked around wildly. The big silver church crosses were too heavy for her to lift, but there was a small cross made of straw on a column beside the door. She took it quickly and ran up to Morgan, holding it out in front of her. Morgan hissed like a snake and fell back, and then she screamed, and the sound filled the church for several seconds. Then it was gone, and so was Morgan. The children were standing alone, staring at the place where she had been. Susie put the cross back on the column, and together they all moved out into the everyday world of the street. "We'll have to do something about Martha," Susie said. "Let's take her to the hospital. Perhaps they can help her. Anyway, it's a good place to hide from Morgan." They went to the Chipping Ledbury Hospital, where they did not have to wait long for the doctors to look at Martha. She had very dark skin, a thin bony face, and intelligent brown eyes. Probably Indian or something, thought William. The doctor listened to Martha's chest, shone a bright light into her eyes, and turned her head from side to side. She lay on the bed staring up at him and answered his questions politely, while the others sat beside her, looking worried. "Well," he said in the end, "if we were in my country, I'd say she was under some evil person's spell. I have seen this kind of thing before. Fortunately, she is beginning to get better. Give her a cup of tea, would you, nurse? Then she can go home." "Really?" said the nurse. When she brought the tea, "These foreign doctors? Who believes in spells these days?" And she hurried out, shaking her head. By now Martha was sitting up and looking almost normal. "Where am I?" she asked. In the hospital, replied Susie. You've been behaving very strangely. We think Morgan put a spell on you. Don't you remember? You went off in the car with her. Martha's mouth dropped open. Did I? I don't remember that. But I do remember last night. I woke up and looked out of the window. There was a strong wind and I saw the stones. Stones? Repeated William. How could you? You can't see them from your house. That's just it, replied Martha. They were moving. The other stared at her. Moving, said William. And there was something else, said Martha. But I can't remember exactly what it was. Never mind, said Susie, getting up. Let's try and get to the bus station before Morgan finds us again. Just then the nurse came back into the room. Ah, she said brightly. You're very lucky. A kind lady had offered to take you all home in her lovely big car. Come along now. We aren't allowed to go with strangers, said Susie. But this is alright, dear, I promise you. Because this lady isn't a stranger. She is Mr. Steele's wife. We all know him. Well, we're not going with her, said Martha. By now, they were all walking towards the big double doors, and they could see a dark figure standing by the entrance. William suddenly shouted, "Run!" And they had gone through the doors and were outside before anyone could stop them. They kept on running towards the bus station without looking behind them. It was raining hard now, and there was no sound of following footsteps. They were relieved to see that the Steeple Hampden bus was waiting with its engine running. Gasping for breath, they climbed in and sat down right at the back. They stared worriedly out of the windows, hoping the bus would start soon. There were several people they knew on the bus, but no sign of Morgan. In a few minutes, the driver appeared. The doors closed and the bus started moving slowly again. Outside, the rain was beating on the windows. The sky was dark, but inside, it felt pleasantly warm and safe, and the children began to feel much better. Suddenly, Martha gave a cry, and the others turned. Behind the bus was a large, shiny black car. It was the Rolls. "Look," said William in a shaky voice. "There isn't anyone driving it." It was perfectly true. The Rolls slid silently behind the bus, but there was nobody at the wheel. In the back, they could see a pair of long legs crossed. "Can't be," said William, but the girl said nothing. Clearly it could be, and in fact must be, Morgan. "That explains why the driver said the Rolls hadn't been out," whispered Susie. One of their neighbors, found from Steeple Hampden, was sitting in front of William. He bent forward and said politely to her, "Excuse me, but do you see that car behind the bus?" "Yes, my dear, a grand-looking car," the woman replied. "Can you see anything strange about it?" he asked. "No, my dear, nothing strange," the woman answered, a little impatiently. "But I don't know much about cars." The children looked at each other and remembered Miss Applewhite's words. Most people only see what they expect to see. And that was the end of Chapter 8, Escaping from Morgan. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.